And today we are going to show y'all how to install the Frontier Truck Gear grill guard on a new 2015 Chevy Suburban or Tahoe 1500. It'll fit either Suburban or Tahoe. This one here is a brand new vehicle from the dealership, so we cannot cut it. They don't want the grill guard to stay on it. We're just doing it for pictures in this video. Yours is going to have this piece on there. I have not seen any with tow hooks, so you're going to have to, as of yet, you're going to have to cut this part out to access the frame where our bracket's going to go. There is a line where you're going to cut, and if you cut on that line, you will have tabs to keep the rest of your plastic intact, as you can see right there, up underneath. But you have to cut that to get to the access. But we are not going to do that, as I said, because this is a brand new vehicle and we got to return it as it is. The bracket that you're going to put on is going to angle to the outside, as you can see this one does. We have the other bracket on. We'll show you how that was installed in just a minute. This hole right here, your frame is going to go inside there. It's going to go in, your frame's going to be here. It's going to come up right to the edge of that hole. When you get underneath there, you're going to mount this black tab as that. Your frame, into your frame, is going to be underneath that black tab right there, and that's going to help that thing from pivoting right like that from front to back, or up and down. So make sure the tab is on top of the frame and it pinches that frame. This part right here, well, on the outside, you're going to have two bolts on one side and one on the other. It's opposite on the truck from one side to the other. That's why we have two holes on each side. That way we don't have to have a left and a right as bending. But then this is going to go on there, and it's got to go, this part right here is going to wedge into the cup on the bottom of the frame. As you can see right here, that cup is going to be in there. When I slide that bracket in there, that bracket is going to wedge in the back of that cup right there. And then you're going to have where your holes go, which will line up. You're going to be one on this side and two on the other side. This is the driver's side. The passenger side will be the opposite. Okay? Make sure, again, that you put that tab in there, and you're going to have a bolt that comes up to the bottom, as we showed you just a minute ago, and that's going to pinch the front of the frame. When you get all those bolts in there, and it's easier to work from the back bolts on the side that's got two. Put the back bolt in first, tighten it up, and then you're going to put the front bolt in, and it's easier to get the wrenches on there. After you get that mounted, you're going to put these two holes right here, are going to line up on your grill guard right here. And those are the two bolts on each side that you have to put to hang the grill guard. Make sure all bolts are tight before you put the grill guard up there on the mounting brackets to the frame. Again, you'll have 3 1/2" by 1 3/4, 2 on one side, 1 on the other, and then 1 up through that mounts the black tab, then pinches the frame. When you put the bracket on, make sure it's as far back as you can, and make sure the tab is pushed back as far as you can into the frame to make sure it grabs it well. And after you do that and get the brackets mounted, which we have one mounted on this side, you can see the black tab right there with the bolt that's pinching the frame. Okay? On this side over here, you can see where we got the bolts mounted to where a tow hook would be. We have not seen one with tow hooks, but not saying that they're not out there. And then just got to make sure all them bolts are tight. So in all, to mount one bracket, you're going to have 4 bolts that have to be put in, 1/2 by 1 3/4. And now we will be ready to mount the grill guard. All bolts are tight. Make sure they are before you put the guard up there. That way you don't have to worry about forgetting to tighten them later. As you see, again, this is open. Yours will not be open like that because you did not have to take this off. If you want to take it off to notch this, you can, but it's a lot of clips and a lot of work. And once all that's done, bolts again, tight. You're going to have a guy on each side of the rover here. We're going to put the top bolts in first. That way it'll relieve the pressure off the guys putting the rover up there. And they don't have to hold it quite as long. We'll put the top bolts in. Bolt flat on that side. Flat washer. Flat washer. And then I'll put the nut on there. Now that is relieved from pressure just by doing the top one. Go over here. Same thing over here. Over the flat. Flat washer. Hot washer. And nut. Once you got those two top ones on, now the guys can let go of the rover and take the pressure off of them. We're going to put the bottom ones in now, and then we are going to lift the guard to where on this setup, the top of the shoe is usually right pretty close with the top of the bracket right there. Gives you a good spot to start with on up and down. You also want to come over here and you can take a tape measure and measure from the fender to the inside of what we call the loop. Do the same thing on both sides. Make sure it's good from side to side, and then we're going to snug the bolts. That's what we'll do right now. Align and tighten the two bolts on each side. The alignment again, make sure that both sides are the same from side to side. You can take a tape measure from the fender to the loops, which is what we call the loops. We made sure it's right from side up and down from side to side. You can get back from the front and line up your bars with your fender. Make sure they're equal out on each side. This one ended up being flush down here, the bottom of what we call the shoe, but the two plates from mounting bracket and the grill guard itself is flush with each other. But then you just still make sure it's right up and down. And just, again, make sure all bolts are tight that you've messed with and installed. And we hope you enjoy your new 2015 Suburban Tahoe Combo grill guard.